Hi there, welcome back. I hope you're doing great. Got a great little episode today. I'll be actually checking in on these cuttings I had taken a long time ago. These are some of the largest cuttings of a plant I've ever taken and tried to get to root. It's been a few months now. I'll put a link or a little connector right here to show you if you want to look back at when I cut these and when I started potting these up. The trick is I took these plants as cuttings off of their mother plant, let those those wounds dry out, heal up, put them in soil. I've been cultivating them, kind of protecting them a little bit over here in my side yard. They only get partial sunlight. Been keeping them slightly moist and some fast draining soil. I actually even ended up covering that wound a little bit with some rooting hormone, and I think that may have helped speed up the process. I know a lot of folks at home love gardening with succulents and cacti. This plant right here specifically, I believe it's botanic. They call it the Totem Pole Cactus. It's in the cactus family, Cactaceae, right? And so it actually doesn't have any spines. It's smooth to the touch for the most part. You can feel a little bit on there. I can actually, I've actually my first spine I've ever felt on here, but it's usually really, really smooth for the most part. And it's a beautiful little plant. I love growing it. Actually, the largest cutting here, I think we weighed it was like almost 9 to 10 pounds. It's actually even put on a little bit of size since it's been planted. It's been a little while, so let's see. I actually want to check in with these, and we're gonna start small, medium, large to see if they've actually produced any roots. Now, normally I would say, hey, just keep in the pot, just keep nursing it along as it looks fine. Don't mess with it, because a lot of folks, when they're propagating plants, you kind of keep playing with it and until you maybe do some unwanted damage. But we don't want to do that. So I've waited, I've been patient, and so what I'm going to do today as well is I'm actually going to repot some of these in some larger pots with some fresh soil, a little bit of fertilizer now. I'll use some starter fertilizer, maybe even a light growth mix to give them a little bit of kick. Like I said, I've been keeping them somewhat protected, so it's been a really hot summer. I haven't had these out in the full hot sun. It would almost, even though they're cacti and they're desert plants, I believe they're native to Mexico, Baja California. You can even find some populations, I believe, in South Arizona. So they love that hot, dry, desert weather naturally. So for us, we want to make sure that they're in soil that drains really well, a pot that'll drain really well. We're gonna try to do that today. I actually have an empty pot that looks really pretty that we're gonna put this big girl in, and then hopefully we'll find some homes for these ones as well if they have roots. If not, we'll just leave them in here. Well, actually, it's all gonna start with this first one, because I'm really not gonna even pull these ones out if this first one's not healthy. Really quick, if you've been watching this long, I'd appreciate it. Please hit the like and subscribe button. We'd love to have you back for more, of course. I gotta do that spiel. But really, I wanna share with you is, I actually lately, for those of you who don't know, I had a dream come true. I've just got my first hosting gig as a host for a podcast for a local nursery in our region called the Green Acres. It's called Green Acres Nursery and Supply. The podcast is called the Green Acres Garden Podcast. I am the host, Kevin Jordan, and I'd love to have you there. I'll put the link in the description below, and try to, or whatever, you click on there, or go seek it out if you want to just hear about gardening, where it's it's audio format, and it's great. Actually, I have a great little team around me, and so we've already have two episodes done. The third one is done recording, and it'll be out this Friday. Episodes come out every Friday, and it's all about the garden topics that are typically seasonally relevant. The first episode we did last week was all about vegetable gardening in this hot summer heat and how to keep that vegetable garden looking really good. This week we kind of moved over towards fruit trees and how to keep all your what to do with your fruit trees out in the garden during the summer, and how to keep them healthy and looking good, and what are some of the things you should be considering. So a lot of fun. I could talk on about that all day. You can see I'm really excited. Like I said, it's truly a dream come true. If there's anybody seeing this video, I'd love to have you give it a download. It's just good old-fashioned, just plant love, and with a bunch of fresh knowledge rolled in. For those of you who are new to gardening, it'll probably be like just a kick in the pants and give you a lot of good information that you maybe didn't have already. For those of you who are super seasoned veteran gardeners, you'll probably reaffirm a lot of the techniques and practices that you're already doing if you're doing these. But what's great is there's always something new to learn. There's always someone new to talk to about our passion of gardening and plants. So it's a lot of fun. But so I digress. I go on tangents too easily. So let's give this a look. So I'm just gonna gently massage this root ball. Like I said, you don't want to just go, does this have roots, and yank it out like a rabbit out of a hat. You don't want to do that. And like I said, typically you don't want to be messing with them too much while you're rooting them. Luckily, I've had them in here, I believe, for a few months. I have to look at the date, but I think it was February, March, maybe, when I did these. We'll have to look back. There's 2 episodes prior. One where I cut them, and then one where I potted them up. So these are such big cuttings It's not like a little branch clone off of a plant where you take a quick cutting and put it right in water or right into some wet soil and baby it. They would just rot out, right? And so you can't do that with succulents and cactus like this, cacti, right? It would just, that wound would usually rot if I had put it into some wet soil and before that wound was able to heal up and callus, kind of like getting a scab on your elbow. They do that naturally. I actually had someone mention on the last episode, they're like, hey, I like to use a blow dryer on theirs to kind of speed up the process, because these were so thick and wet and juicy. It took like I think 2-3 weeks to really get them to fully kind of callus over. So some folks they'll use a fan or maybe a blow dryer on cool. You want to be careful. I mean, maybe you don't want to roast it, but maybe they've done it before and probably have some experience with that. So maybe that's something you might want to try. I'm happy with being patient and keeping them in the shade and let the outdoor air get to them. But if you were doing a ton of them and, you know, time was of the essence, who knows? You know, I thought that was clever, for sure. All right, here we go. Let's see if we have any roots. This is like the moment of truth. Oh, at first I didn't see any, but you know what? So we actually do have some in there, and that is, hope you, this is my first time using this camera. So you can see they're really dark because they're covered in soil, and there are a few in there. I can see some white tips coming out. That's a really good sign. Now there's not a ton there. It's not like a plant you bring home from the nursery where it's got vibrant full roots all the way to the container. It's not at that point yet, but it's definitely rooting and rooted. And so what we're doing, and the wound looks perfectly healed, and I can actually see some longer roots as well as some younger, smaller roots coming out. That is great. What I'm going to do is I'm going to gently put this aside. We're not going to forget about her. We'll plant her up here in a little bit, but I want to see if that one has roots. Then we're going to go stage 2, and let's see if what we got right here. This would be fantastic if this one was rooted as well. So like I said, you don't want to pull them out. You want to be nice and gentle with these. Oh wow, this is a lot more promising. The first one gave me hope. This is actually very, very good to see. Now I'm trying to support all the weight of this because I don't want to put weight on these roots too much. But look at that. It's actually swirling. So they've actually hit the edge of the pot and started swirling. So I'll gently kind of massage some of that soil away. You know, a few roots might snap off, but I just want to show you, because I don't want too much on there, but I also don't want to damage it too much. Oh, yep, we got some good root growth in there. Some of the outer roots fell off, but they're really delicate, really delicate. That's good to know. There's still plenty of root on there, so it's going to be perfectly fine that we lost a little bit. But yeah, it's just like a little bit, just a little bit. All right. Big girl is here. It's good to see these two are looking good. I hope the camera is still rolling. Now this one has a little friend in there. Her boyfriend's down here living. So I'm gonna pull him out, put that little gentleman aside for later. He's a fun little succulent that was hanging in there. And so I'm gonna gently, this one's a lot larger, so it's gonna be, I hope you can see it. It's probably, maybe, I don't know if it's in frame, but this thing is big. And so I'm gonna pull some of the surface soil out and just set it here on the table, and then what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna gently put her on her side and then see if we can get her out. Like I said, normally I wouldn't want to mess with her too much, but I think it's time to upgrade her to a slightly larger container, a little bit larger, a little more space for soil, fertilizer, and then get her watered up, and then life will be good. But I've been waiting. Like I said, I did use a little bit of rooting hormone. It came in a powder, and so as these got planted, I actually coated that wound with a bit of that powder, and then got them potted up into it. I didn't use any cactus mix, actually, even though they do naturally like really kind of sandy soils. You probably could have. I haven't grown them in that just yet. I do know that they don't like being in soils or containers that continue to hold water and moisture continually. Now I'm just breaking up the root ball just a little bit to see if because I don't want this one, I don't want her to put too much weight on herself, right? This is like transporting a whale, right? You gotta worry about their weight out of water. I don't want her full on, it's a lot of weight in their stem here, so I'm gonna try to, and I don't want to yank her out of here. You know, I don't want to pull too hard, only if she'll come gently, but even then what I'd like to do is, here, I'm gonna slide her right out. Just to form that container a little bit. Oh, there we go. Oh, yes. Woo! Okay, that's great to see. All right, I don't want to mess with her roots too much, but there's plenty. There's plenty. I can actually, I'm going to come back, kind of see where they're at on the trunk. The base of this plant looks healthy. There's no rot, which is great. Like I said, they really like sandier soils. Some potting soils tend to really hold water a lot sometimes, especially some containers maybe don't drain enough or drain as well as they probably should. And so hopefully we'll get this one potted up. All right, so I'm gonna pot these 3 up. We'll come back at the end, I'll show you what they all look like, and we'll be good. But the moral of the story is totem cactus are cool. What was it, Pachycereus shottii monstrosus? They're cool plants. I'm so thankful my auntie had one at her house that she got as a cutting a long time ago from a botanical garden that sold cuttings, and so like a nursery. And so I'm so thankful because now I can grow these and get these ones a little bigger. Maybe they'll put out some pups, and then I can split those up, divide those, get those rooted, and then just keep sharing them to more people, which will be great. All right, let's get to it. All right, friends, so I got them potted up into some fresh pots, gave them some fresh soil. Of course, I used myself some Evystone Sure Start. It's a starter fertilizer, organic, real mild. It's got some great nutrition in it, some mycorrhizal fungi in there, get this soil alive and thriving, and it'll help out and work out in a great relationship with the root system. You see I actually added some friends in here. So my Pachycereus shottii monstrosus has some friends with her for a little succulent and cactus party. Then here, right where they're at, they get just partial sun. They'll get a few hours right in the late morning, early afternoon, and then boom, it's just indirect light from there. It gets pretty warm over here. So I'm gonna baby them. I got them watered. Like I said, I got some starter fertilizer in there. I used a pretty decent organic potting mix, but I also threw in not only the organic starter fertilizer, but you can see I mixed in a bit of vermiculite, but I put a bit more perlite in this batch just so it would help with the drainage. I noticed the soil that I used does a great job typically, but it was holding a bit more moisture than I'd probably like for these cacti to have. And so I gave them a little bit of mix in there. You can see that's the white rock in there, that perlite. So it's been stirred up and mixed into the potting mix, and that'll help with drainage. But that's about it. You know, if you like this video, I would love it if you subscribe with us and come back for some more garden adventures. We're gonna check on these, see if they grow more, see if they can put out some pups, because they don't just stay as one single trunk. They'll start growing branches, and those branches will come off the sides, and then, you know, it'll all look great. So we'll come back and we'll check on these in the future. I hope you had a great time. Until next time, happy gardening and best wishes, my friends.